drove across the country and back. These three women. Lena, a housewife whose husband no longer wanted to touch her at all. Sloane, she and her husband brought other people into the bedroom. All the stories of men who hadn't sown enough of their oats. And Maggie, a girl whose first real experience of love was with her married high school teacher. The thing we can do to understand is to listen. The country and back. These three women. Lena, a housewife whose husband no longer wanted to touch her at all. Sloane, she and her husband brought other people into the bedroom. All the stories of men who hadn't sown enough of their oats. And Maggie, a girl whose first real experience of love was with her married high school teacher. The thing we can do to understand is to listen.
There's a problem with these other people around here. They causing all this trouble because they mad because they ugly. There ought to be a law against two ugly people. Because they'll bring in another ugly person in the world. If you don't believe me, follow ugly person home. Somebody ugly will open the door. Won't nobody open the door because don't nobody want to live.
Oh, Mr. Sinclair! What are you doing in my face? I wasn't doing nothing.
In here with me. Anyway, Dookie, you don't want me.
I don't either,
Muted.
Welcome, you guys. Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Ashley. This is My Sweet Perspective, where I give my take on all things TV and movie related. And you know I'm here to put you on, and I'm not here alone. Tyra over at Struggle Reviews, and we have EJ, the TV junkie, here to join us this evening. And Kay, hopefully. She's having a little bit of technical difficulties, but I'm sure she will be back on as soon as she can. Tyra, happy Sunday. How are you today, friend? How are you?
I mean, I've been better, but you know, we started this journey together and we are going to finish it. This was a Maggie oriented episode, and it was a little heavy. So
is that what we're calling it these days? Heavy. EJ, how are you doing this fine Sunday? Are you ready to dive in to Three Women? Twilight?
You know how I feel about Twilight, first and foremost. So I really am appalled at them about that, but I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it slide. I'm ready.
Okay. And Kay, our clinician that's on the panel over at A Slice of Horror, are you ready to get in to this week's episode of Three Women? Well, okay, all right. Well, okie dokie then. Let's get right in here because no time like the Dadgum present because yeah, you guys, it was a lot. Again, it was Maggie heavy, and I think everyone who's been watching it with us knows exactly what that means. So let's just let's just get into this episode. So, overall thoughts, episode 8 entitled Twilight. Wasn't that clever of them? EJ, I'm starting with you since you are our resident Twilight aficionado, right? You and Kay over there. What were your overall thoughts of the episode, and how did Twilight get into this? How did Twilight get into this?
I'm gonna answer that second part first. I feel like they just needed something. It's like Twilight was minding its business, doing nothing, just minding its business, just being what it is. And then they drug them into this, got all the little pieces in there, what part makes you feel like what. I'm like, why do we got all these sticky notes? Okay, it was horrible. Leave Twilight alone. Like, Twilight is my show, and I need people to just let it be. But yeah, but as far as the rest of it, overall, I just don't like. I don't know what it is about Maggie's story. I mean, I know that it's a heavy story, yada, 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 but it is just not my cup of tea. It's boring to me. I do not like the Maggie's episodes. Like, I just didn't want to watch it, but I did.
Well, we had to, right? Because we show up for our subbies every single time. Kay, talk to me about your overall thoughts of episode 8, and how did Edward Cullen get rolled up into this mess?
Yeah, look, I know y'all don't know. Y'all may not know that part about me, but look, I'm a real Twilight fan, probably more than Maggie. But I have all my books here. We got the new one. If y'all ain't read this one, go and read that one. I got, what is this? Eclipse. Look how thick these books is. Yes, I read all these books. I got that one. What is this one? New Moon. Read that one too. And the biggest one of them all, The Breaking Dawn. This is the hardcover one right here. Mm-hmm. So I am a huge Twilight fan, and I said, now how Edward and Bella get in this? Why would y'all? And then y'all, and I'm such a big Twilight fan. I saw how they filmed it. They filmed this like Stephanie Myers had her floating and coated in the same way. They had that. So they the only thing they didn't have was the score behind it, but they filmed this just like they was in Fort. And I said, I know damn well. Y'all are not trying to make this a Twilight episode. They go to hell for that.
Okay.
And very much romanticizing this liaison. Well, really this predator prey situation, honestly, even if she didn't know she was prey. Tyra, overall thoughts of episode 8, Twilight, and how did we get here, ma'am? How did we get here?
That's the only thing they were missing. That's all we needed.
They just needed her to bite her lip. Just needed a little bit more Bella, a little bit more depression on it. I so much the themes of Twilight. I don't have that close connection that EJ or Kay has to Twilight, but with them trying to romanticize it in this way, whatever they're doing, it's just not working. I feel no closer to Maggie than when we started. I find myself like, this is a Maggie-centered episode. Like, oh, and with the subject matter of her particular story being so serious, I don't like that narrative that I'm just kind of dealing with it. Getting on to like, I think everybody here is like, oh, we got Lena. We can expect Lena to do something wild and crazy and be unhinged, but we're kind of like biding time until we get on back over to Martha's Vineyard. And that's not that's not cool because there are 3 women here, but I'm waiting for that thing to pull me into Maggie to really, I'm just not with her. I feel a really strong disconnect, and I don't know if it's because of how they're depicting this predatory relationship or just Maggie overall, but I'm not into her, and we are 8 episodes in.
Same. And this is my thing, Tony. Why do we keep having romantic scenes with the predator? We're going to get all into it because that's my major ought with it. And I think that's been what's turned us so off from not only Maggie's character, but her storyline, because every chance they get, we got to see them rubbing, groping, touching it. In her mind, it's been painted in such a romantic way. Like, I was so turned on and da-da-da-da-da. And again, we've seen it in previous episodes. They'll sandwich it in with the consenting situations and throw this one smack dab in the middle. Like, we're not going to be like disgusted by it. And again, Tyra asked it all the time, the question, who is this for? Like, who are you doing this for? Because we get it. we get it. If they had spent more time really letting us get to know Maggie outside of her being violated in this way, or sexualized in every way, because if you think about it, every story they've told about Maggie is in some way involving her in a sexual relationship before she was really of age. So I don't understand the choices with that. I'm like, do y'all want us to be disgusted? Do you want us to feel for Maggie? I don't understand their motivation when it comes to Maggie, but I don't know. Drop it in the comments if y'all do, because I don't get it. Synopsis of episode 8, written by Laura Eason, shame on you. Directed by Kate Shortland, shame on you. As Aaron Knodel, I've been calling that man Nodal this whole time. Knodel is how they pronounced it this episode, is put on trial, and Maggie must come to terms with unimaginable loss. But was it unimaginable? Was it? And I put this disclaimer up just like the show does, because we know if you finish this episode that Mr. Knodel denies any inappropriate relationship with Ms. Wilkin. He was acquitted of 3 of the 5 charges against him, and the other 2 were declared a mistrial and dismissed. Okay, so this man has not been declared a sexual predator by the powers that be. Take that for whatever you will. Maggie is on the stand and unprepared. Tyra, I want to start with you. No witness prep. No, like, let me tell you what's about to happen, Maggie, when we go in this courtroom. But Maggie, let me tell us your story, and tell it just in the way it happened, as juvenile as you want it to be, as weird and ridiculous as you want it to be, and open yourself up for ridicule, because that's exactly what's going to happen. Tyra, talk to me about Maggie on the stand and unprepared.
I mean, we knew she was going to be unprepared from the last Maggie-centered episode. Nobody's prepped her. I don't know what she expected to happen here. Even when she gets there, she's like, can anybody in the courtroom be removed who's making me feel uncomfortable? Like that lady over there. It's like, oh, no, that's his mom. Like a lot of these people are in here. They're on his side, and they're just feeling like the audacity. Like, who the hell are you? He would never. She wasn't prepared in the proper way, and she wasn't physically prepared by anybody, and she isn't mentally prepared to be here because she's still reminiscing on these things. I think we said it last time, like if she doesn't acknowledge or know that she's a victim, nobody else is going to. So we're wanting justice, of course, but we're still not even in the headspace to know that I am a victim. This was absolutely wrong. This changed my life forever. This is like she's still kind of looking at him in the courtroom in a sense of like, I can't believe we got here. I thought we loved each other. Like it's never going to be that. This was very cringy and hard to get through because we know who this man is, but everybody in this courtroom, including this man, he was waiting for this moment. Every inconsistency in their story for, if you would have just unzipped my pants, if you would have just did this, if you would have met in the text and did you delete everything, and he was waiting for these moments just in case something happened, and he was prepared and she wasn't and still isn't.
Oh, yeah. And that's what makes a predator a predator. He was ready for every eventuality. And as we go through this, I can't even call it a relationship. As we go through this situationship, this predator-prey relationship, for lack of a better word, you're going to see everything he did, I felt like, was thought out. It was strategic. That's how you know he's not new to this. He been a predator, okay? But yeah, I think they left her out on a limb. By not telling her what to expect and preparing her for that, and giving her the option of, is this something that you really want to follow through with, knowing the impact? Because the whole time in this chair, on the bench, whatever, she's wearing a scarlet letter to everyone that's sitting in the courtroom watching this. EJ, Maggie, your girl on the stand and unprepared. Were you prepared for what you were about to witness with her on the stand and everything that came later?
I mean, I feel like I was prepared. I feel like I was prepared for absolutely what we got. I mean, at the end of the day, when we went to the, God, I can't think of what you call it, when they go in and they were talking about it initially, when they were trying to see like what the defense had. I mean, the prosecution had, or whatever it was. Y'all remember that part? I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, when we were there, when they were
like
both
discovery.
Yeah, the Discovery. That's what it's called. Yeah, thank you. When we were in Discovery, we saw right then that her lawyer didn't prepare her for anything then. Nothing led me to think that he would prepare her for this. Should he have? Yes. Did I think he was? No. And it was very apparent. And I'm like, girl, you cannot stop and ask the people, like, ask the lady, can we remove somebody? Like, what are we doing here? Like, that's not how this works. But you're right about another thing, too, about the way that he set everything up, even when he's having that moment with her and saying, you've been with more men than me. I mean, you've been with more partners than me, yada, yada, yada. Like, all of this was a setup. All of this was a game to him. Like, all of this was very thought out and well played. And she's such a young mind. She's a young teenage girl. She's listening to everything that he says. If she had just said for one moment, maybe told that one friend, maybe she could have had somebody that could have corroborated her story. But here we are.
Here we are. Kay, did any of this surprise you with Maggie on the stand? Did she surprise you at all? Did what ended up happening on the stand surprise you at all?
She got in there. I guess I'm trying to figure out how they didn't prepare her that they was gonna dog her out on the stand, because they talking about everything but the fact that what happened was inappropriate. Because ain't no way in hell that a teacher should be on for 4 hours. And then they calling into question Twilight. Get Stephanie Meyer out the courtroom. What she got to do with it? Y'all worry more about Edward and Bella than Maggie being touched. I said, okay, all over with her up to fail, and it's like she didn't see it coming, in a way to be able to advocate and stand up for herself. She's just sitting there like, once you start talking about Twilight, she's gone after that.
Listen.
She done got wrapped in the story.
Listen, because when they said, so you thought he was your vampire lover, Edward, I said, y'all playing. Y'all are playing in this courtroom. We go back. The opening scene is North Dakota, 2008. And I'm just like, really? It all started with Twilight. This is just how, I won't say how good of a groomer he was, but he paid attention to what this young lady liked. And he said, okay, I'm going to dive in it from an access point that I know she's in love with. Like, I know she be reading that Twilight book every day at school. She done went to see the movie now. Okay, here's my chance to slide in. Baby, give me the book. I'm going to write in the margins all my little notes and how it makes me think of you and me. Like, this was ridiculous. Kay, I'm going to start with you. Was this the perfect setup for him in terms of grooming her and getting her ready to be his victim?
I'm trying to figure out what grown-ass man with wife and kids over there reading through Twilight books. That's a red flag already. First of all, that's a red flag. And why are you still sitting in class with him? Ain't nobody else in class. When everybody else leave, you leave too. Because I'm trying to figure out why you know what Edward and Bella doing. Because I'm questioning you as a man. Because why, as a man, you making notes in this book that was made for tweens?
Not tweens.
that was already a red flag. That it gave grooming, and it's like, I hate the fact that her parents weren't able to be there and let her know these things, because she romanticized it as if this was a normal thing. Mm-hmm. But he's telling her things like the red flags was going up. Like, you can't text me first and be this and it's got to be that. But in her mind, she's warping what's going on in these books and making it seem like what's happening in reality. Like, the lines are blurred. And at this point, she's just as delusional as Lena.
Absolutely. Oh, maybe even more so, because her brain's not even developed yet. Tyra, talk to me. Was this the perfect setup?
Absolutely. This was perfect. This was on paper, so there was no actual paper trail. So, anybody wrote that. If she would have happened to have saved those notes, because she had a little piece of a note, like, did you write this? No, I didn't write that. Did you see a text message? Did you see any corresponding emails or anything from account? No, there were notes in a margin in a book with, Post-its. This was it just leaves it open to how many times he's done this before and how many times he's been able to do this afterwards, because this was a pro. This was a pro, and he knew just what to do, just to give a little bit to her to keep her kind of holding on, because she sees, like, well, what is this ever really going to be? What about when I go to college? What about, because he's talking and pitching this to her like, I'm gonna leave my wife and kids type of situation. Like I just, oh, she's just getting on my nerves. It's just you're the only one who understands, and I'm just biding my time till I get back to you. And it's like, well, I'm gonna ride this as long as I can until I move on to the next girl. In the meantime, I need to have her holding on to something. What does she love more than anything in the world? These goddamn Twilight books and movies. Let's go on and attach that. And then it's also something that can't be traced back to me because it was just on paper.
Mm-hmm. And everybody was reading it at the time, right? In high school, it's like, okay, well, why? That's not me. As he cheeses up there on the stand, we go get into it. EJ, was Twilight the perfect breeding ground for his grooming at this point? Because it feels like he literally just preyed on what he knew she was interested in, and is like, okay, this is my segue. I can be her Edward.
Yeah, I mean, that's what predators do. That's exactly what they do. And that's what he did. He preyed upon that. He used that. And she just, ate it all up because everybody wanted their Edward or Jacob, depending on what team you were on at the time. But that's what she wanted. And he made it seem like we are intertwined, like this is us, and shoot, she fell for it. And I'm not saying it in a bad way because she's a teenager, of course, but I mean, that was the point, right? For her to fall for it, for her to buy into it. And like you said, he could never get traced back to it. I mean, I would have had me a handwriting expert in there myself, but
It was I'm going to cover my tracks at every single point of this. And for me, when we got here, I really felt like we spent too much time with this. Like I got to see y'all in the classroom. I got to see y'all humping in the car. I got to see you here and there and everywhere. Like we get it. We get it. I don't need to see your fingertips meet and like, oh, I'm just so in love with you. Ooh, wear these pants, easy access. I didn't need any of this disgusting display that we got here. I didn't need it at all. And I really felt like we spent too much time here. EJ, what did you think about all of the scenes that we had to see with these two? Did you think it was necessary for the story, or do you think they just added it, to be extra?
I think that we could have gotten to the point without all of the extraness of it. I think we could have did a little bit of the scene just to give people the gist of how this all played out, but we didn't need to go as far as we did. I felt like we just went so far into it so many times. I mean, we already get it at this point. Like, we don't need all of it. Like, we could have just recounted the story without recounting the story, if that makes sense.
I agree. I wondered, like, why, Tyra? What do you think the purpose of this was?
And this is her retelling her story. This is Maggie on the stand.
Yeah.
Like, I don't ever pay attention to, your intro too much when you play it, but the way that Gia presents it, like the love of Maggie's life just happened to be her older teacher. This is supposed to be a romantic relationship. I'm convinced. We were never supposed to look at this as a overly predatory situation. It's just kind of like a hiccup. Like, oh, I just happened to fall in love in my first romantic encounter with a man. It just happened to be my teacher, but I loved him and he loved me. I know he did. Like, that's the way it's probably written in that book. I'm assuming. I don't know. I haven't read it, but that's the way it's being presented in the show. That's why she's, having her fall in line with the other two women as if this was something consensual and that she had control over. And that's why we're spending so much time in these sex scenes like they're supposed to be erotic or something, or they're really distasteful in my opinion. But this is supposed to be showing us how far Maggie was gone, how much she was in love, and though predatory, the way he went about making her fall in love, like whatever. This is a little sick, and I'm really concerned as to why, of all things that get canceled, this got renewed for a second season. All right,
it speaks volumes, and I can't say I'm signed on for a second season unless it's all about Sloan. Critical Thinker 137. I think that this is a great observation, right? This series is supposed to be empathetic to Maggie's experience. It fails to fully humanize her. Yeah, it absolutely does. She does not, and not that we need a likable protagonist or, what do they say, like a good victim in this, but we as far as what we know of Maggie, she doesn't have any real depth at this point. Everything she has been doing up to this point that's been expressed to us is out of like low self-esteem, feeling ignored, wanting to get this man's attention. It has never been about justice. Kay, what do you think of that point? Do you feel like the series has done anything to humanize Maggie for us as the viewing audience?
In the criminal justice system,
Girl.
sexually based offenses are considered especially heinous. In New York City, the dedicated detectives who investigate these vicious felonies are members of an elite squad known as the Special Victims Unit. This is one of their stories. Okay, if y'all don't call,
Really?
because that's all I'm just thinking this whole time. Because why are y'all romanticizing this? If y'all, y'all should have been playing Michael Myers music while this was happening. I need to hear the music that y'all played when Freddy Krueger arrived on the scene or something. Y'all was playing Twilight music at a time where I should have been hearing John Carpenter music. Because where are the Special Victims Unit detectives?
I don't know.
Nowhere, Kay.
There's no reason I should know just as much about her predatory man teacher than I know we know too much about him. Why?
Lord.
Weird.
And so through all this, not Maggie's parents, not another teacher, not an administrator, nobody else, but this friend. This is Maggie's only true friend in this world. I guarantee you. They're ice skating. A young man is giving his attention to Maggie, like, girl, let me take you home. I'm trying to see what that be like. And she's like, no, I'm going over here. And Maggie's friend is like, you screwing that teacher, huh? Yep, I see it. You were his favorite pupil in the class, and now he act like he don't really barely know you. Tell me what's going on. Nothing's going on. Girl, tell me what's happening, because something's different. Nothing's different, girl. No, I didn't do it. Girl. Kay, what do you think about Maggie's friend? And is this a real friend to you? And why could Maggie not open up to her about this?
If she was groomed to not do that, because if that man really cared about you, you could actually tell people. And her friend knew something. She knew that something was weird. People see people dynamics. She was like, you used to be all paid in class. Now you want to sit there silent, like you don't have nothing to say. Something weird is going on. They see when you be a little late coming to lunch. They see when everybody leave the classroom, you still in there. But you was quiet the whole class, but now all of a sudden you in there. Now all of a sudden we talking about what boys we going to with the prom, and now you ain't in the conversation no more. You ain't picking out outfits and stuff. No, we ain't even talking about this conversation. But you always in your phone, but we don't see the guy that you dating. The math was not mathing, and her friend was like, "What's up? Tell me what's up." And probably if she would have told her, she would have been somebody who could like a friend tell a friend until somebody calls the police. But she just so wrapped up in this mystery, man, like this is Edward Cullen, and I can't tell anybody that you're a real vampire or the Volturi is gonna come out here.
I mean, he is a damn predator. But it's like Craig David said, you left this morning, you were dressed in black. Now you come back home, you dressed in white. Fill me in. Tyra, talk to me about this friend of Maggie's. And I mean, when you're in high school, I had a best friend, and I would tell my best friend everything. It wasn't nothing off limits. What did you think of this and her holding back?
Maggie was brainwashed. Maggie was brainwashed, and she really thought this was the love of her life. I think she thought, like, what did he say? She's like, well, what about when I go to college? And he was like, well, at this time, like, yeah, I'm going to be peeking and, dropping in on campus. And this is something that's going to last. He really loves me. This is my artwork. I'm not losing this for anybody, especially not my best friend. I'm not going to get too much into best friend, because if any two ways I thought my friend was anywhere too close to a teacher, in my heart of hearts, I would have told somebody. Even if I was wrong, I would have told somebody. Like, this is clearly like she's getting different treatment, her staying behind. Like, I'm not going to be walking in on a student and like, oh, if anything looks a little bit suspicious to me, especially if you are a mandated reporter, you're supposed to tell somebody. Nobody here said anything. Everybody just had their thoughts. If I would have thought that for one second, I would have told someone. But I mean, I guess she's a friend. But yeah, she's just brainwashed, in my opinion, and she's really like thinking they're going to go the test of time. And of course, we see what happens with that. She's like, I'm not losing him. me saying anything to you would jeopardize whatever we're trying to have going on, and I'm gonna save it even if I have to lie to my bestie.
Yeah, I mean that's true. And Darfelina, I don't think that Maggie's motivations need to be right for justice to be done whatsoever. I'm speaking just strictly to how they're telling the story to us here. And of course, it doesn't need her motivations don't need to be justified for us for justice to be done. Unfortunately, I think the dynamics in her small town, in the criminal justice system that she's sitting in, everything's called into question there. That's what I believe. And we were talking about, humanizing her as a character. And Dane, yes, Sloane's storyline. That would be the only one I would watch in season 2. And it could be a whole season because it's more than just about cuckolding that husband of hers, right? It's about her journey. It's about her history. And it's about what's going to happen in the future for her, in my opinion. But EJ, is this Maggie's only friend?
Yeah, definitely Maggie's only friend. And also to Darfelina's comment about I forgot what the whole comment was, but anyway, I'm just speak on it real quick. But also Maggie, you have to seem like a victim too in order for people to see you as a victim sometimes. And Maggie didn't see, like, even though we know what it was, Maggie didn't come across that way. She really was making this seem like this was a jilted lover story. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was nothing about it that seemed like it was wrong. It was always about making him right, or protecting him, not necessarily right, but protecting him. But I'm doing this. And I feel like even if you are doing it while she was doing it for this reason, and it may not be right, I feel like that's how it came off, and that's how everybody perceived it and took it. And that's why she probably got the outcome that she got. But not saying that it's right, it just how it went. But yeah, this is her only friend. This is definitely her only friend. And if she had told this one friend, maybe, just maybe, like I was saying earlier, we could have had a different outcome, because somebody could have corroborated her story, just saying that, yes, she told me about this. Yes, I saw her staying after school later. And that one teacher, shame on him. He knew something wasn't right. That was horrible.
There you go. There you go. And so then we get into the thick of it, right? Reckless, but we never get caught. Nothing's ever wrong. There is no way, to me, y'all are in here doing the absolute most. Your door is locked as a teacher. This other teacher comes in, knocking on the door. Come on in. The door is locked, man. There's all this fidgeting. You hear all this stuff. You see her adjusting herself as you walk in. You walk in with your hands on your hips like, young lady, what are you doing in here? Never once looking at the grown A man that opened the door and had it locked. From my understanding, when I was back in school, students couldn't be alone in a room with a teacher with a locked door, let alone a closed door. Like, that wasn't ever a thing I was used to seeing. EJ, talk to me about this. Reckless but never got caught. Did the other teachers fail her as well?
Absolutely. I feel like in this moment right here, when you come in here, it's the old saying, if you see something, say something. You know what I'm saying? You have to say something. You have to do something. Everything about this spidey senses should have been going off. Something was not right here. Everything looked wrong. There should have been more. This should have been reported, and we should have been asking questions then. But think about it. If this had got reported, if this teacher reports this, it goes on record, right? And then when we come back and we spin the block on this whole thing, there's a record saying that, oh, there was that time when I walked into the classroom and this, that, and the third happened. Like, I feel like she just is failed at every moment. Like, she just doesn't have any people except for that one friend who tried to, but other than that, the adults around her they hopeless. I mean, we saw that from the situation from the Hawaii thing. They not doing what they supposed to do.
Oblivious. And her parents, I don't know what kind of la la land they live in. They didn't notice a change in her at all. Kay, talk to me about this. Reckless, but never got caught. They're all in the classrooms after school. I mean, out in the open, honestly, just waiting to be caught, I would have thought.
I think they all part of the good old boys club, because he saw that and probably doing the same thing himself. It ain't nothing that ain't nobody else done. It ain't nothing that he probably ain't done. When you part of the good old boys club, that means everybody doing thing. I'm gonna have your back, you gonna have mine. They all probably cheat on their wives. They all probably talking to students together. They all probably in this whole thing together where they know they be doing stuff, but we gonna have each other's back. Just like y'all must. That town probably got like their own version of the skulls going on. That we gonna have each other's back. You see why you see how it extended to not just the school district but the court system as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was all they made sure that this man left off unscathed and got back. I believe everybody is doing dirt. So why would he say anything? Because he probably got something on him too.
Lord, she said it's a everybody involved. And she said it's the good
Everybody
old
in it.
boy. The good old boys, Tyra. What say you? How was this never suspected, never addressed, never reported by anyone?
I'm okay.
They was all in it together.
This is a whole ring. Even if he wasn't, one of the ones who was actually being intimate or doing any wrongdoing with an actual student, it doesn't mean that he wouldn't condone it or, try to talk to him on the back end. Like, hey, man, you better be careful. They could, next time it might not be me. Like, it just kind of feels like, hey, when the young hot kids, whatever, try to put the moves in, like, you got to like Didi gonna want a party. You got to tell him no. Like, I think he would endorse it. I think he would, because he said, yeah, I've sent you to such and such multiple times. You steady talking about you're going to the library. You're never there. So this time I wanted to check again. You weren't there and you're here. Like, hello? Like we know what's going on. Like, nah, he gave him a high five later. That's what that was.
Lord have mercy. And here we go again. And this scene, I just really wanted to put in there because it did give you a picture of just how much of a child she really was. She's laying in the middle of her bedroom floor, posting stickers to a Dadgum owl card. Just, being a kid, my wife threw me a party, but I'd rather be here with you. Like, I just, because what the hell? Get out the bathroom. Like, you were just an utter and complete predator. Then we go from that immediately to this. My wife saw your text. It's over. Like, just like that. I was like, this was just so abrupt and bizarre. And the show that shows everything failed to show really her true reaction after this. And I thought that was so odd. Tyra, talk to me about this. Was this unexpected to you? And did you expect to see some response or how the fallout may have been immediately after this break? Well, he called it off.
I didn't. The show hasn't done anything in Maggie's favor. So I was like, why would they start now? This was abrupt, we knew it was coming, and then we're not even gonna, even if we could have panned over, like, where's this wife? Because if she saw the text, then she can, corroborate this story. Yeah, I saw those texts, and yeah, we don't acknowledge that or anything, or even hell, y'all want to spend so much time with him. I want to see the wife confront him, like. The fact that he's still being able to be upstanding, nobody said his name. I'm sure he's still married to this wife. Every single person around him has condoned this behavior. And it has been all about image. The story hasn't done anything to, I would like to see her emotional state, the breakdown, because we know it was there. We see how she acted when they were playing keep away with that Twilight book and those notes. Like, she was already losing herself and deep into this deceptive man. So with her being this invested in thinking that, oh, this is my everything and I'd rather be with you, for you to just get cut off like that had to do like some serious damage. But I'm assuming they just wanted to tie that back into her emotional state current day and how unevolved she is as a person and how much this has halted her life and her growth. But yeah, I would have liked to see that. But the show has not done a good job of showing her in a light. I think people are thinking that we want her to just be down and out, like victimized and just, no, that's not what we want to see. But I don't want to see her having sex with a predator every episode. I don't want to see
that part. And my thing after this was, okay, because this would have been the prime time. You're hurt, you're devastated. Yeah. This is when I want to take action against him. But we see that it's 5 or 6 years later, and it's really at the behest of one of her friends. Like, he's nominated for Teacher of the Year. What if X, Y, or Z happens? You know what I mean? And so that kind of made me really want to see what that was like after the friends found out, because I know the one friend was like, I knew, she had to have been like, I knew this, I knew that. But anyway, EJ, my wife saw your text. It's over. Were you surprised at his abrupt ending of this situation?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought this was weird. I mean, we were just on the phone talking about, I wish you were here at my 30th birthday party. Like, I'd rather be with you. And then all of a sudden, boom, we get this text message. My wife saw your text. Like, at this point, you just told me how much you love me, how we were going to be together after 5 years, how when you go to college, like, you just said all these things to me, right? And I get a one-liner text and that's it and it's over. I mean, honestly, I feel like the wife wrote the text. I'm just keeping it real. I don't feel like it was him that wrote the text. I feel like the wife sent the text, and maybe she did see it, but that she was the one who actually sent the text, and that's kind of how that ended. But I do feel like, where's the closure? Like, I wanted to see. They had to have a conversation after this. She's in his class. I mean, I don't, because at this point, are they still at this point? Because I don't know where time frame we're at yet. We're still in school, right?
Mm-hmm. In this
Yeah, we're
part,
still
when she's
we're still in school when she gets the text. So I don't understand why we didn't get that part of it, because I would have been more interested in the after effects and
Mhm.
how he acted and how she acted once they, see each other again, because I know they saw each other again.
Mhm.
I think he sent it, EJ. I think he sent it. I feel like he was prepping for this because right before this, he's like, yeah, stuff is getting a little sticky. Did you delete everything I ever sent you? Did you throw things away? She's like, yeah, I delete. Like, I think he was prepping to throw her by the wayside.
Oh, I forgot about that part. But you might be, yeah, you're right, you're right, you're
To be
right,
done
baby.
with her, yeah. Because I'm thinking, if what wife? Well, I will say this because we know some women who done stayed with some predators
Yeah, you
that
know they
were
just
that were their husbands. But who in good conscience would know that their husband was with a minor and wouldn't say anything? Like, wouldn't say anything at all. Kay, talk to me about this. My wife saw your text. It's over.
And wait, that's if she actually saw it. He could just be
If
trying to dry cut her off, and he could have just sent that because we don't actually see his wife or any of that at any point. He probably sent that himself because then didn't he say like my wife is getting closer to? Did you delete everything? Like I don't need her rummaging through. I think he was just trying to break it off because he was done. Because when she was prepping to start going to college, I don't think he ever
yeah.
saw it going beyond that. And college and getting more into adulthood, he's a predator. He likes
Mhm.
prey. Once she's grown, I think he would have lost interest, and he's trying to divvy up the next person in his classroom.
Yeah, he already slut shamed her. He said, "You've been with more people than I have." Like EJ said, "You've been
That's
with more
crazy.
people than I have. Like you're a woman of the world. You've been out here throwing it around." Kay, uh, yeah, my wife saw your text. It's over. Did the wife send it or did he send that text?
We should have known something sooner because ain't no way you don't know. It ain't no way. He was moving way too shifty. It ain't no way. It had to have been something else that sparked it because with all the you can't be on the phone for 4 hours with this and nobody not know this, or that you sneaking around or you doing this or the story ain't adding up. Something been happened and she been knew. I think that she may have just got fed up and threatened to leave him, and then he wanted to fess up and just say, you know what, it's over with. She might have threatened to call the cops or to get a divorce, and he said he wanted to cut it off right then. So I don't know if it was just a text that she saw, but his wife, and this is what he did in order to keep in order to.
Not sick enough because he'd have been under that jail. Don't let me be the wife.
Look
Uh,
at him.
Now we back present day and we're on trial and it's time for him to be questioned. And really like the golden boy of the year, really. Oh no, yeah. We saw that you had like 3, 4, 5, 6 hour conversations, a lot of them after midnight. Oh, I was just trying to be there for my student. I'm teacher of the year. Yeah, my record is pristine. I'm here for all of the things. I was so literally disgusted by just the air of like pompousness that he had up there. Like I'm not guilty of anything. I'm a free white man in America. And I didn't do anything. I'm teacher of the year. That's exactly what it gave to me. And that crooked smile, it literally just pissed me off. But it was in this moment, we knew already, but I absolutely knew in this moment that he was going to get off scot-free. EJ, did you know? Well, you knew that he was going to get off. But what did you think of his demeanor and how he was on the stand?
It was giving. I don't think this is gonna stick. I was like the audacity of him to sit up here and smile about it. Like it was like he was projecting this like, y'all can't do anything to me, like, look at me, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was this weird thing about him, and I didn't like his answers. For it wasn't good enough to me. It wasn't a good enough answer of why you're having a 3 or 4 hour conversation, because I'm sorry, if this is my child, that's not a good enough answer for me as to why you're on the phone with my child for 3 or 4 hours, period. I don't give a darn if we alcoholics or not. No, that's just not a good enough answer. And I don't think we really dug deep enough into that. I realized that. And then when they were reading the messages, did you send this? No. Did you send this? No. Did you send this? I'm just like,
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Like I didn't get any, it just didn't, like, I wanted something else from him. Like, I really wanted something else from him, but it just feels like he has no remorse for it. And this is probably something that he does all the time. So I don't know what I was expecting.
I was expecting something, some sort of empathy, maybe. I don't know. I expected something different than well, I don't know why I should have either. I shouldn't have expected anything. Kay, but I'm teacher of the year. What did you think of Mr. Canodle's demeanor on the stand? Did you know in this very moment that he was about to get off and get all these softball questions in his examination?
This man didn't even look like he was telling the truth. So that's how I know it was a setup. There ain't nothing about him that said that he was being honest on that stand. He was literally like, I didn't do that. No, I can't believe that. No, he wrote every last one of them Post-it notes and put them in that damn Twilight book. He didn't even look honest. That's how I know. It was a complete setup. It don't matter. He could have actually even went in there and said he wrote all of that, and they still would have let him off. And they probably would have flipped it on her and said that she enticed him or something. He was never going to go.
Going. Yeah, that's where it was going. We already knew that it was going to be, girl, you're the whore of Babylon, scarlet letter on your chest. He's an upstanding member of society. Tyra, but I'm teacher of the year. What did you think of this whole performance?
He knew that. He knew she didn't have a case. He never felt threatened at this moment. From that moment that we see him and she's trying to leave that card, he was like, I thought she was gone. Like, he was irritated. Like, I still have to deal with this again. He never felt threatened at any point in this trial. Clearly, he wasn't. You see how bold he was in the classroom, and he already knew what this was going to be if he had happened to have gotten caught. He never had any fear, and he had no reason to. They were never going to believe Maggie, and he knew that, which was absolutely sad. He wasn't interrogated at all. They didn't hit him with any hard-hitting questions. It was like, yeah, was that you? No, it wasn't me. Okay. Like, it was very, very cavalier as far as the situation, and he knew it would be. So he was just like, yes, this is Tuesday. I hate that she wasted my time coming on up here. Like, what did you think was going to happen? Yeah. I'm teacher of the year. I have, promise in the community, and I've been upstanding, and you're Maggie, the one who was in Hawaii busting it down with an older man. You never stood a chance, honey. And then you ain't saved nothing. You deleted everything. You got this little Post-it. What is that supposed to mean? Yeah, nobody's gonna hold him to task. I wasn't expecting anything.
No, it wasn't. Rod says Sloan better get 2 solo episodes back to back on my And so this, of course, was no surprise. He's not guilty. And again, for the remaining 2 charges, it was a mistrial. And so, y'all, that wasn't the only thing in this episode, which I thought it was going to be. I said, damn, we're going to have the whole trial. But apparently a lot of other stuff happened too. But this was one of the things that I really wanted to talk about because, girl, wait. And this is who you call your friend? She said, close your legs to marry men, basically. He doesn't deserve to lose everything because you had a consensual relationship with him. Like, I just don't see it. If you liked it, you wanted it, you did it. He went along with it. Okay. But does he deserve to lose his reputation, his life, his family? Yes. It's called abuse of power. He was her teacher. Under any circumstances, it's predatory. Whether she's at the age of consent or not, it's undue influence. And it, like I said, it's a misappropriation of your power in these situations. The power dynamics off. And she's really, I don't believe at that age, really capable of consenting to that with a grown A man who's 30 damn years old. But what did you think of what this friend said? Kay, I'm going to start with you. What did you think about that? Like, I mean, he shouldn't lose everything.
From watching the stories growing up that you don't mess with nobody's man, okay? Keep you do close your legs to married men. But at the same time, this is an abuse of power. That man was selling her a dream. That man was doing everything to make sure he was comparable to Edward Cullen. Okay. So she didn't she thought it was a lot more than what it was. Because as you can see, that girl parents ain't teach her nothing. They didn't
Nothing.
teach her nothing. They didn't put her
Or that
out in the
sister of
world with the
hers.
tools. Exactly. Nobody was really looking out for her, protecting her. Instead of chastising her, you should have told her you are a victim because you're not looking at it that way. This man created by her. This man did not walk out of a vampire book. He's not a vampire, but yes, he is a predator.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I would trust about a vampire would that teacher in his good old boys club.
What they say, the bear, choose the bear. Tyra, close your legs to married men.
Girl, Maggie just ain't got a soul.
No. What did you think of this friend? Is this even her friend? Like, who are you?
Like, I mean, I wasn't mad at them for putting this in here. This friend, this is someone who knows Maggie, is close to her, probably grew up with her, went to school with her at the time, a pupil, same age demographic, and she didn't even believe her. Like, I think it was very telling that if this person, my friend who came on down to my daddy funeral, didn't believe me, well, she never stood a chance in their courtroom. It's just like, it's just a different time. This is a different time and a different thought process as far as why that man was supposed to be guilty. But I just thought it was telling that if you of all people didn't identify and understand and think that she was a victim, nobody else was. That man was going to get away scot-free every single time.
Yeah. But I don't care. If you my friend, you're supposed to kill a brick all about me. It's always the other person. Listen, yes, girl, you were a victim. He did wrong. And in this moment, I mean, we see her at least for the first time say, no, he destroyed my life. He did this. We have at least her in this moment, Maggie, kind of acknowledging that something wrong did really happen to her. EJ, do you think at this point she gets it now? Do you think Maggie understands that what happened to her was wrong? Or do you still think she's kind of in this thing of like, I just wanted to get his attention. He really was my first love or whatever. What do you think?
Yeah, so in this particular moment, like when she says what she says, I feel like Maggie is finally at this point where she understands that, yeah, he did do something wrong. And I was kind of glad that she spoke up for herself. The friend was just straight trash. But at the same time, this friend is like a lot of other people. There's a lot of people in this world who seem to think that, who would blame Maggie for this whole situation, even though that he's the one, like as a teacher, he is the person that is the authority figure. He is the adult. He is the one that's like a parent, being mad at a child for doing something and you don't discipline them, and then you're mad because you didn't discipline them and you didn't teach them better. It's the same thing in this case. Like at the end of the day, this is the adult. He's at the top, so how can we be mad at her, the person who's here, the person that's supposed to be guided and led by this teacher, when all he did was finesse her? He had her at his house. He was doing all sorts of inappropriate things with her at the school. He was in her car. Like, I don't see how anybody could see this as something that was right or as her, the one that's messing up his life. Mm-hmm. No, he messed up his life.
That part.
He did that. That was all his own choice, his decision. And quite frankly, I don't feel like she was old enough to be like, I don't feel like emotionally and mentally her mind was, she couldn't make those right choices. She couldn't make that. He could have made them, but she couldn't.
No, exactly. He manipulated her. And you're absolutely right. The friend is suffering from internalized misogyny because that man should be punished to every extent of the law. He should. Mm-hmm. And he shouldn't be allowed around anybody's children.
And that's
because I know she wasn't the first, and she surely wasn't the last. And God knows
like
how much younger he's been. Yeah,
I wonder if he got daughters.
They probably. And here we go. And then this just happened, right? Dad goes out, meets with the priest, and the priest says, "Baby, just go home. You just depressed a little bit. You don't need to go to the hospital. You don't need to go see nobody. Just go on home. Pray about it. You'll be all right. We find out the two detectives come to the house and we find out that Maggie daddy, bye. He gone. And he was already on the verge anyway. I felt like, what did she say before when they got into it, when she first confessed to them everything that had happened? She was like, I can't take care of you right now. This gave me the mind that this isn't something new. I don't know if he ever had made an attempt before to unalive himself, but it gave that he was already mentally unstable. Tyra, did this come out of nowhere for you? Did you think Maggie Daddy was on the verge of taking himself out?
We needed just a tad bit more stock. If we could have left some of that schmexual stuff, maybe we could have got a little bit more into her father. Mm-hmm. You know, we could have left that. We need just a little bit more to get more into his headspace mentally, because beyond him being an alcoholic, how much did we really know, and him not really being there actively as a father as he possibly could? We didn't know a whole lot, so this can feel a little like, what? Because I know I was like, what? Okay, wasn't expecting that. It was a little surprising. And then you don't really know for sure if he did have more internal issues going on, or was he just thrown over that hill because he felt like he failed Maggie. And he failed her again because she didn't get justice. Like, there's a way for this to, for her to internalize this, or for the family to internalize this. Like, if you would have just kept it, like, I just didn't know what they wanted us to do with this. Like, what is this? What does this mean for her? We spent so much time in other places beyond her family, and I didn't feel like they did a good job there. We do get, they were alcoholics, they were drinking, they were, not being as attentive as they could be. But we didn't get, the afterwards, like what, it just wasn't enough, because we spent time on the salacious activity and we didn't need to for that long. But yeah, this was something, but I'm sure it was coming, because Maggie's reaction made me feel like, oh, I always knew he would do this. And the mom was kind of like in denial. So there was definitely something before. I don't know if it was an attempt, but there was definitely something with him that would let her know that, yeah, he's not above taking himself out of here. But yeah, I'm like, what do we do with this now? What do we do with this now? And, what does this mean for Maggie? Like, besides another notch and like, oh, Maggie, like, girl, you can't win for losing. Like, Lord, like, I don't know where we go from here. And if I want to be there when we get there. Because when she gonna meet Gia? When did that happen?
That's what I'm saying, Lord. And I was hoping we were at least going to get that at the end of this episode, but we didn't. Yeah, we didn't really know that. We didn't get to know him outside of him drinking beers out there, going to the ice skating rink, and then looking crazy in the courtroom, and then being dead. That was it. Now, Gia, I know you had more substance than this. I mean, I know that the information was there, at least a piece of it. And you could have fleshed that out more than giving us a whole episode of she in that predator. Like, now what I did think was interesting is the mom being in complete and utter denial. Not my husband. How dare you? He would not the man I married. Kay, talk to me about the man that lady married. Were you surprised to say bye-bye to Maggie Daddy? Or do you think that was just kind of par for the course with his this character?
Yeah, I wasn't shocked at all. Anybody that drink that much is running from something. He was running from something his whole life. You drunk away your daughter's life to the point where you didn't see that a man was taking advantage of her. Because even if the mom didn't say it, as a man, you should know when your young daughter's being preyed upon. You be able to see the signs, and he didn't. It's like once he put down the drink for 1 second, and couldn't handle it because he had tuned. Because I'm sure he had some skeletons from a life way before Maggie even came into the picture, and he was running from it. But you can't run from yourself for so long before everything catch up to you. So I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah, and I don't want to use my context clues for everything, but I did see a flag there, which made me think that he was possibly in the military, maybe served, maybe in a war, maybe it's PTSD. But again, it's not my story to write. I can't write y'all story.
Do these people some favor.
Listen, I was looking at the context because I said, oh, maybe he got post-traumatic stress disorder. I do see the military flag up there. Like I'm trying to help them out because
do better. Y'all got renewed. Y'all got funds. out of here.
They do need to do better. EJ, were you sad to see Maggie's daddy go bye-bye? Did it surprise you? Were you like, or you were like, Tyra, what? Like, what? Wait.
But I didn't even know her daddy like this, so I didn't really have like a connection to him, to be honest. But no, seriously, when it was all said and done, I felt like we were getting like little nuggets that he was about to unalive himself. So I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna go down. And Maggie, once again, she just lost another person in her life, and I think it was supposed to make us feel something for her, but I still didn't feel a whole lot for her. When it was all said and done, I just didn't. And I don't want to be that way, but I just didn't.
I didn't either. And I think it's the way that they've packaged Maggie to us as an audience. Like, it's just, I hate that. And then this scene really irked my nerves. It really did. And I don't know if it was that was their intention or what, but at the, the wake or the repast, whatever, where they have the food and stuff, and the priest is there and he's telling, they're like, when did you last see, my husband? Well, he came and he said whatever. And, I told him just to go home and go to sleep. Maggie said, you said what? He trusted you. You're the reason why he's gone. You're the reason he did this. And it just really felt like, oh, wow, we're not going to put the onus on the dad. Like he committed the act. Like now, should the priest have told that man to go 5150? Absolutely. Go check yourself into a mental hospital, right? Yes, go do that. But for you to blame this man for your father taking his own life, I didn't think that was fair. And I'm like, where is this coming from? Like all the anger that she had, because when I tell you she cussed him clean out, Tyra, talk to me about this. And what did you think of this scene with Maggie and the priest?
It made me feel sad for her because I'm like, we already got these moments of, what she's been through, her not getting any justice and everybody making it seem like it was her fault. It was her fault. You wanted this relationship with this man. This was your fault. He didn't do anything that you didn't allow. You're not a victim. And I think that goes to her mental state too, as to why she feels like she's probably not. So there's already blame there. She's internalizing that. And then now this narrative just gives, well, you the one, you brought this case to light. And, you stretched your dad out beyond his breaking point. And now, he decided it was too much for him to bear. And it's like, she doesn't want it to be her fault, even though it's not. I feel like she's going to internalize it to be like, I did this. I had a role to play in this because I brought these things to light and my dad couldn't handle it. And so since she's not ready to process that, she's like, I got to find somebody. You priest. They're like, well, no, this isn't your fault. Just like, that predatory teacher wasn't your fault either.
Yeah. And I wish explore that more. Explore the nuance of like what self-guilt looks like, of what it looks like to kind of internalize or feel like I'm the reason for this. And it's echoed. And actually, and I hate to say it, they actually did a better job in Lena's story of conveying that same thing, right? Because when she's sharing about her trauma from high school, it kind of really resonated, this idea that, no, it was my fault. Everybody in my life told me it was my fault. I put myself in that position. But here it just fell. I wish they would have explored that more. Again, there were so many other things to explore other than the Smicks as it relates to Maggie. Kay, talk to me about Maggie and her going off on the priest about the father's passing.
I almost feel bad talking about we are looking at the stories of people who may have been a part of the SPED program in school. Because something is just off with them. Like the mental state and the developmental milestones are not being met here. Like Maggie is just like, for her to be in this place in the story, supposed to have a little bit more of an age on her, it's almost like we're still dealing with a middle schooler. Just like Lena, we're still dealing with somebody who is in middle school. Like there's some kind of developmental delays that are happening here. What? I don't have to pay for exploiting these people. Because I'm pretty sure that Maggie and Lena both had IEPs in school, and Gia probably had one too. And for her to sit there and exploit these women so that she can write a book because she's a terrible writer in the first place, Gia, you know what? Hell is calling.
Did you say hell is hot, Kay?
They calling.
But that's like that arrested development, like you said. When people experience trauma, right, they sometimes get stunted in their growth and their development. So EJ, Let me blame somebody. Did you? What did you think of this scene? Did it make you feel any kind of way? Did it make you feel compassion for her, or I mean, what did you think?
I mean, I had a little feels for her in this moment when she going off on, because I'm like, girl, not the priest. Like, are we really going to go off on him? But and I get that you want to blame someone, because I was waiting for her mom to blame her. Like, when I was so waiting for her mom to say something, like I was waiting for her to have this moment where she tells her that if you hadn't have brought this in. Like, I was waiting on that, but it didn't happen when she first gets the news. Instead, she walks away. But it's just felt like the energy felt like that to me. Like, I felt like that's what her mom was giving. And if I felt that, I'm like, Maggie probably felt that same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, she felt like in that moment that her mom was really blaming her, but not saying it. And I don't know. That's a lot of pressure to have, especially after you lose the case too. Like, I mean, girl.
Compounded interest, absolutely. Y'all, that was the gist. That's what happened in the episode. What's next, Kay? What's next? Or do you even care what's next?
Wrap it up. Okay. Wrap. I got my book right here. Got books.
Okay, you got your books. I got the blanket. Don't bring them in here no more. Let
Don't bring them.
go.
Don't bring Edward in here no more.
Okay, let them be.
EJ, what's next?
Girl, nothing but Sloan, I hope, because I need to know what's going on with her. That's it. I don't care about what's going on with Maggie and herself. I hope she get the therapy that she needs. I wish her well, and I hope for the best for her. That's it.
Tyra, what's next?
Girl, hopefully the end. Hopefully it's the end. The next episode, like this was Twilight. The next episode is Sex on Drugs. So, and you know they take these titles in a literal sense. Like, I'm like, oh, come on, Sex
You
on
said
Drugs.
the title is what, Tyra?
Sex on Drugs.
Don't none of these heifers need nothing else.
That's the title of the next episode. So how they've been taking these, like when we had the climax episode, this Twilight episode, that causes for concern. And we've had enough hanky panky in this show, and y'all know I love good sex scenes. When I tell y'all I'm tired, I'm tired. These are not the sex scenes I was asking for. I thought y'all was gonna give me some Blair and some DeWanda Wise. That has yet to have happened. They've been with everybody else. Yeah, I don't know. I just want it to be over, like Keisha Cole.
Tyra, read this.
I just want it to be over.
If it ain't, you know what? I don't care. If it ain't Sloan, leave it alone.
I'm just gonna go with the flow, y'all. That's all I got for it. I don't have anything else to say about this episode or this show, for that matter. For right now, I just, yeah, it is what it is. But that's it, you guys, for Three Women. Tyra, tell the people what's going on. What's going on, Tyra? Yeah, you in the big one. You in the big bubble.
Y'all know y'all the OGs. Y'all was here earlier this morning. Y'all know what's up. Y'all know what's up. Just be there tomorrow for Disclaimer and for Abbott Elementary and for From. And of course, everybody will be dropping their solo videos for From. Go support that and keep supporting us in these Three Women. We're almost home.
Almost. EJ, what's going over there with the TV junkies?
Girl, it was quick. It was in your face too. Yeah, that was a lot. I was like, ooh, let me do something better. Yeah. What am I doing tomorrow? What is today? Sunday? Monday?
Mm-hmm.
Monday is gonna be From, and then I'll be talking with you guys after that. And then shoot, I think that's it. I have a few uploads that are going to go up. Zatima is going up, and my From video is going to go up. So just keep your notifications turned on.
Yes, keep the notifications on. Okay, that was better. That's how I wanted it. My bad.
Yes, this is better because I wanted that other one.
Okay, what's going on over there at A Slice of Horror?
In addition to everything else we've already said, coming this week, so you all be on the look. look out for that, and make sure you like and subscribe to everybody's channels.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here. And let's take you guys out with the new weekly TV guide. Thank you guys so much for being here. We appreciate you for the 50 some people that have been with us tonight to get through this episode. I know it was a task. Hopefully, episode 9 will be better. It'll be the penultimate episode for this season. Yeah, and we're going to get on out the way. Thank you guys so much for being here. Have an amazing night.
Bye, guys.